And good morning, Hoosier fans. Welcome to a victorious edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After, Northwestern. The Hoosiers are victorious. We add a win to it, thank goodness, break a two-game losing streak, advancing our record to 12-3 on the year and a 50% 2-2 on the Big Ten. Final score of that game was 66-62. Mixed bag, obviously, on this game because this is a game we should have come in. We wanted to come in, use as a confidence booster, and win handily. We wanted to be able to come in and take care of business. And it felt like that to at least start for the first half of the first half. It began to be another tale of something that I've said many times, where IU played pretty good for about a quarter of the game, the first beginning part of the game, then fell apart like we have, then somehow, eventually, got it back together and was able to win the game. Now, wasn't pretty, but just recapping a bit of the timeline. IU got its biggest lead with 7 minutes. We advanced the score to 19-29. And then after that, all the way until the half, they surged back, and we went into halftime scoring only 2 points after that. So in the final 7 minutes of the game, of the half, we only score 2 points. We get these scoring droughts that are just not a good thing, that are not helpful for us at all. And those 2 points were off of fouls, were off of free throws. So that put us obviously in the hole. Then the second half, we came out pretty still looking lackadaisical. Brought the game, by the way, at half, we were just down by 3, thank goodness, from that. So something that was manageable, something that we could come back from, rally in the locker room. We came back a little bit stronger in the second half. Still not as strong as we should. They just kind of kept that lead, kept pushing it out. It got up to 39-35, and it just kind of sat actually at 39-37 for quite a while. Both teams were struggling. We just couldn't. We got back to that lost puppy, I guess I could call it. I should start calling it, on offense, where we are afraid to go to the basket. We're just kind of passing it around on the outside. Shot clock winds down, and finally the person that happens to hot potato have the ball towards the end of the shot clock tries to throw something up. Either that or someone somehow thinks that they've got a decent shot and then they shoot it for 3 and we miss it completely. So yeah, it just kind of stayed like that, back and forth. And honestly, at this point in the game, when we kind of get around the 14-minute mark or so, it doesn't look very good. I mean, they arc the game out at the 12-minute mark to their highest advantage, 50-40. And it stays there at 50-40 for a while. Justin finally makes a jumper, brings it within 8. Free throws, again, help us a lot and gets it even closer. But we still didn't seem like we were going to advance the game enough. I was watching it and I was just willing the guys. I wanted someone to not be happy with losing. The guys just looked fine to go through the motions. No one was really talking. No one was vocal. No one was getting mad. I wanted to see some emotions. I wanted to see someone get mad. I didn't see it. No one was doing that. Joey, I thought, would be the first person to be like that for our team, and he wasn't. At least not that I could see on the TV coverage. Maybe if you were watching there at the game, you can comment and tell me that you saw something else. there at the stadium, but we looked like we were just willing to go through the motions and just wanted to finish the game. We just wanted to get it over with, get it done. And they were settling for what the team was giving them, what the game was giving them. They weren't happy to not lose. They were happy to lose, it looked like, at that point. A lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers. They used those turnovers and turned them into points. Hold on, let me bring up that stat to see. Because points off turnovers was definitely in their favor and kept them in the game. Points off turnovers 15. Doesn't seem very high, but in this game where they were a very depleted Northwestern team, that was something that they were able to take advantage of. Our shot selection again was poor. We stopped trying to feed it in to the block. I know he's trying to get them going, but I see Trace go out there and set those screens, and then it doesn't really lead to much. I kind of want to argue with him and get him to stay down there in the block and demand the ball, because they just keep swinging it around. Then finally, someone seemed like they were fed up with losing. They were not going to be happy with losing, I should say. Around the 9-10 minute mark, Al Durham started to turn it on. He started to find that north-south game that we know he can play. He started to play aggressive, but he played within himself a little bit. He maybe played a little bit past where we like to see. He can kind of get a little unhinged and a little too aggressive sometimes. It leads to a lot of charges from him and turnovers. We saw that a little bit. He had that one drive where he tried to drive it and got caught up into three guys and then got lost with the ball and tried to just do a little dump pass to Trace, but Trace was confused himself just as much as Al was once he got down there under the basket and didn't see the ball coming to him because he was busy blocking out. He was looking for the rebound at that point. But it was his aggressive play and his leadership. Finally, there was someone leadership that was not happy with how the game was going and was fighting and pushing, and he was getting to the line. He was finding guys. It was a lineup that was in there that finally looked like they wanted to win this, and obviously finally got it there for us. Justin Smith, it all, I think it leads to our upperclassmen. The four upperclassmen that we have on this team need to be the ones that when we're in diversity like this can step up and straighten the guys and get things going. That's what makes you have a good team, is a not necessarily high skilled veteran leadership, but veteran leadership that is vocal and that bulldog. We need that bulldog player, that person that's not happy with it and is going to fight and yell at you and get you to straighten up and motivate you and get you into that. And Al finally got up and did that. Justin had a tale of two halves, 5 turnovers in the first half and got a little bit better in the second half. Defensively wise, he's usually something strong that we can count on. Their player, what was his number? What was his name? Kopp was someone that he drew the assignment of quite a bit, and he was definitely one that we had to look out for. He let him get by him a lot. There's one play, obviously you all saw it. They replayed it even on the TV, where Justin got caught ball watching. There's a few other times on defense that happened in the first half. I believe in the second half he finally did turn it on and figured it out. Like I said, he had 5 turnovers in the first half. He had 0 in the second half. So he finally strengthened up, wised up, found his man on defense, stuck with him, and then did what he needed to do on the offensive side, which was stay aggressive near the basket, boxing people out, second chance. Second chance points were a big thing for us. We had 12 second chance points. Could have had a lot more because we did have 15 offensive rebounds. It was a pretty good number, and it felt like a lot more. It felt like we got a lot of second chance at baskets. We only made 12 of them, but I'm sure we had a lot more chances at them. There's that one possession, I think we had 4 chances before it even went down to the other side. Can't remember if we got points out of it or not, but yeah, looking across the board, trying to think of other numbers and looking at numbers of other people. Trace Jackson-Davis again was our lead scorer, 21 points. He had a pretty good game, stuck within what he needed to do. Again, I would want him to stick underneath the basket a lot more. Also, when they started to play the zone against us, I really want him to be the one that flashes to the free throw line there, and that we find. He's tall, he's athletic. He can really break that down. He gets in there, puts his hands up. You can easily lob a pass to him to break that down. Then he can turn, look to drive. I know he needs to find that shot a little bit more. He doesn't have that mid-range shot as much. It's something that he can develop, but their zone gave us a little bit of fits. They went away from it. I'm kind of surprised by that. I think they should have gone back to it a lot more if I was them, because I feel like we had more trouble with it. I think our just overall general offensive woes made them feel like they didn't need to stay with that. But had we been playing a good game, I feel like that zone could have given us more troubles. Justin Smith finished with 18 points. Did all right in the end. Al Durham, 16. Feels like almost all 16 of those was towards the end of the game. Joey Brunk, 5 points. 12 rebounds. He was, again, a monster underneath, just fighting for things underneath and controlling down below. Devontae, kind of a no-show from Devontae. And oddly to say, it's bad to call out guys like this, I know, but at the end of the game, he was sitting and we were doing much better. Devontae just could not find his footing on this game. He didn't make a single shot. He was 0 for 6 on field goals, 0 for 2 from the three-point line, made one of his 2 free throws. So hopefully just a tough game for him. He defensively struggled as well. Their lead guard, Spencer, gave many of guys that we normally can count on defense-wise a little bit of troubles. He was able to drive past them. He was able to find the rim, find the basket, and get things going on us a lot more than we should have. Our guys should have been able to handle him. Devontae is known as being a good defender on ball, and he struggled. I don't know if he's not 100%, if he's not feeling well, just kind of a little bit of yips, which actually seems to be relatively a good theme across the board with this team. You talk about golf with having the yips. This team has the offensive yips. I feel like it's a lot mental. The players just are in their head. Because look at the beginning of the game. We play good offense. We play inside out. Guys are running good screens. There's good ball movement. And we make our first 2 3-pointers. They were in rhythm. The guys were able to step into their shots, and it looked good. Then guess what? We went 1 for 12 after that. We did not make a single 3-pointer in the second half. We took only 4 of them, which in a way I think is good, considering how we were playing at that time, that we weren't just heaving it at the basket, hoping to score to get back in the game. That has been the case in the past. Our just numbers overall were not good. I mean, field goal percentage, we were 37%. We averaged closer to 50. we are pretty good usually field goal from the field, at least at the beginning of the year. Again, that's part of the schedule that we had, but that are inflating those numbers. 21% from three. Points in the paint, 32 to their 36. That should not be. We should be winning that number each night. Our best scoring, our best game is underneath. I think a lot of that numbers on their side, points in the paint, is from their driving, from their point guard. Spencer was really good at getting past our guys and getting in there. So a lot of those numbers are from there. Fouls saved us again. We made them, they're a team that does not foul very often. I can't remember the numbers exactly. I know I heard it on the telecast as well, but they're not a fouling team. They get close to 9 to 10, I think, fouls. I heard a game, and we got them to foul 23 times. So that definitely helped us. That led to 23 points. Shot the free throws really good, 76% for that. So there's a good thing to look at. There's a positive to look at from this game. But this team needs to find its voice. It needs to find its leaders. It needs to find who is going to be the ones that aren't going to be happy with this play, who's going to be vocal in practice, who is going to be the one that calls this play out and gets this team to play better. One of the continued woes as well is finding that good guard play, that good leadership and everything. I saved a tweet from last night. Verdell Jones, arguably one of the better point guards we've ever had. Obviously, Verdell was a player that not many remember because he played during the tough times. He was luckily at least there for some of the good times as well. But he was a great point guard. He was a great floor general. He had great basketball IQ. He tweeted last night, who's the guy that can go get a bucket? Need a guy that can settle the squad and stop the bleeding during scoring droughts. And that's a good point. Who is that guy? Who can go get a basket for us? The person that did that last night was Al Durham. He is not a guaranteed go get you a bucket kind of guy, but he finally found his game where he is able to fight and at least try to get to that point. And he did. But they need to find that guy that can just go drive, get a bucket. I know they have Trace that can always get a bucket, but we don't have the guys that can guaranteed get the ball to him. So we need to wake up. We need to drink a 5-hour energy, whatever it is. They need I don't know what it's going to take. I'm sure the coaching staff is trying a lot of stuff to motivate them and everything. And this gets back to the woes that we had last year with a team that looked apathetic and looked very lethargic out there mentally. Just weren't in the game, just were happy to go through the motions, and then no one there to call them out on that. Now, hopefully Rob can get back to his confidence. He can find that. He did a great interview this week. Wish I could credit the writer of it. It was on Sports Illustrated, I believe. And he interviewed him this week after practice. And it's clear from that interview that Rob knows too much of how he isn't there physically. Since he's been sitting out so much, he's too aware of it that it is hurting him mentally as well. He is physically not there, but because he's physically not there, he knows. It sounds weird to say, but he knows too well that he's not there. So it's affecting him mentally to not be in the game, be where his head needs to be. He's a high IQ guy. He's able to drive. Last year when we had him at his peak, he was a guy that was able to drive. He found the great little holes, was able to drive and dish and pull up and create little things. And we haven't quite seen that this year yet. He hasn't found that part of his game yet. I think it's a crucial point and a crucial thing for this team for him to find that. And I believe he will. I believe he will. I'm a big fan of Rob. He will get back to it. And when we have him back, then I think that's going to open up so much more for this team. It is going to get the ball underneath for Trace. It is going to allow great kickouts to guys to hitting baskets in rhythm. Again, I think a little bit of what you saw at the beginning of this game is more of what this team can be and should be when they are mentally aware and aggressive and physical. It's just a matter now of finding that for 40 minutes. That's really hard to figure out. I don't have the answers for that. Coach is trying to find the answers to that. He even commented in his post game that he may have to abandon the 11-man rotation, that maybe that's not working. And thank goodness for him maybe to figure that out. Hopefully he can see if that's the case, and we can screen down that rotation. We can get more, maybe some more continuity with the guys, some more chemistry. It's going to be a tough one on Saturday. They host Ohio State. Ohio State's been having a little bit of troubles recently. They've been struggling with a little bit of their guard play as well. DJ Carton, who's their kind of freshman point guard, has kind of reached out to be kind of their leader. Man, we were close to getting him. If we had him, he's what this team needs. But it's going to be a fight. The fans should be there. There's been quite a bit of hype about who might be in attendance there, so I think that's energizing, and there'll be a lot of numbers there at the game. Now, the team needs to give them a reason to be loud and make it the tough place to play like it can be. Last night you could tell, and again, the announcers were quiet a few times just to show us how it was. Everyone was sitting on their hands, just waiting for the team to give them a reason to get back. Al allowed for that spark, allowed for the crowd to be able to get back into it and help the guys get that last bit of energy out of them to win that game last night. But again, if we keep playing like this, this is a loss against a better team. This is definitely a loss against a better team. A better team would have pushed it farther away from our reach. It was just barely out of our reach, and we were able to claw back and win this game. But a game like this on Saturday, and we lose by 10-15. So even with the surge back that we had, because Ohio State just has too many weapons and too many things. That being said, what do we need to do going into Saturday's game? So we need to stay aggressive. We need to pound it underneath. We need to take out their good players that are underneath. We need to stay aggressive with that, get them to foul and get them into foul trouble and take them out of the situation. The Wesson brothers are a very good team, and they demand and control the paint for Ohio State. And our guys need to step up to that. Joey Brunk and Trace Jackson-Davis could have very big games on Saturday. I also believe that you might see Deron come in. Hopefully he might have a breakout game on that. He could have a good chance of doing stuff against a really good Ohio State front court. Our back court has got to lock it down defensively. That has to happen. They have decent guard play. They have decent shooting. So we need to take care of that. So yeah, be tuning in for that game. Do a post morning after show on Sunday. So again, guys, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter. Like, subscribe, all that stuff on YouTube down here to this video. And I will catch you this weekend. Go Hoosiers. Thanks, guys.